He who is brave is free. Welcome back to episode number 5.
Yeah.
Number 5. We are currently in Bali, Indonesia.
Let's go.
This is cool. This is crazy.
It's a pretty long break from our previous podcast. There had a lot of things happen. Like we got, I think there was a clip on our Instagram. It was like, "Oh, we never get sick." It was like we got terribly ill. I mean, that's not sick, but like we went, hell and back basically in Thailand. But we can talk about that.
We got like a Thailand virus. But first of all, so I think the last podcast we shot was like about probably like a month ago. We try and release at least one every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But Andro went to Thailand for 2 weeks with his family. And then after those 2 weeks, he came to Bali. And then I went to Thailand for 2 weeks with my family and my girlfriend. And on both of the trips, we both got sick.
No, it was absolutely terrible. I just literally visited hell and back. But yeah, like we haven't, touched wood, but like we haven't got the Bali belly or anything like that yet.
We don't get sick, so.
Yeah, we don't get sick. Yeah, I think even if someone DM me was like, "Oh, I thought you never get sick," but like that's not sick. That was like
no. So obviously everyone gets sick, to an extent. Well, we all get viruses and all these sicknesses and stuff in our body. The only thing is some people's bodies are just healthier to work through those sicknesses without letting your body feel terrible, And so obviously, I can only speak for myself. I'm guessing Andro and I went through a similar sort of virus or whatever, but. My body is not used to processed foods and all of those type of foods that I was eating in Thailand, and I wasn't able to really dial in on my diet. Obviously, I was prone to trying to eat a bit more local foods there, so I didn't really have a lot of control over what type of foods I was eating. Really, I was out with my family, so we were eating a bit of seed balls here and there and doing some local noodle type stuff, you know what I mean? So I wasn't eating my normal steak, eggs, sourdough, honey, raw milk like I'm doing here in Bali. And my body's not used to that. So as soon as my body got those toxins in, it just immediately wanted to get rid of that. And I think while I was traveling and everything, my immune system being a bit down, I could feel as soon as I landed in Thailand, like I'm not 100%, And so, I fell a bit ill, and then 5 days later, I'm back in business.
Back in the game. Yeah. I think we can definitely talk a bit about Thailand. Obviously, I was there 2 weeks before you. So, I was like, the food choices there are just compared to South Africa, what we're used to, and Bali, it was just not the move. The local food, it was just, if you've been to Thailand, it's just street food, and the restaurants on the highest quality. We were in Phuket, right? So that's even a pretty, established area, and the food choices there just on it. Yeah, it's just loaded with seed oils. I know also Luke Belmore said when he goes to places like Thailand, he literally just fasts for a week. He doesn't eat anything there. So that's how bad the food is there. Or not when it comes to the health options, really.
I think you can obviously if I had to go back to Thailand now, I would be able to get past or buy with good food 100%. It was just me. I didn't really put in a lot of effort to really get the best quality restaurants and stuff. And also I was with my family there, so I was prone to really just eat whatever everyone else was eating, or going to the places and then trying to eat the healthiest thing there. But it's just my body's just not used to those type of foods. There's a lot of noodle type of stuff and tofu, vegetable soupish things, and my body's not used to that. So we used to meat, steak, eggs, dairy,
just
cheese.
The best quality.
Yeah. And so going there, if you were a Thai guy coming to South Africa eating steak and choppies, you would also feel sick, It's just your body's not used to that and doesn't operate in that environment. And so I think now if I had to go to Thailand, I'll be able to make it work. But obviously for those first 2 weeks, it was really tough. I just landed in Bali about 2 days ago, and I really feel healed with all the food. I've only been eating good food. So I also think,
absolutely.
I think the sort of the random restaurants in Bali is just more health conscious than Thailand. I think Thailand is not as focused on health as what Bali is, and I think Bali just caters, or at least where we are, Uluwatu. I think it just caters maybe a bit more for tourists. I don't know, because there's a lot of smoothie bars and stuff like that. That's obviously not local Balinese or what? That's a local Indonesian food.
There are some restaurants. We should definitely maybe try that just to experience the culture. But most of Bali is it's more touristy. We were at the amazing restaurant before this,
Yeah.
like what's it, bamboo cafe.
Dude, that is the best.
Yeah.
So I don't wanna talk anything like or speak about anything, break any future plans or whatever. But we are gonna start a restaurant like that in South Africa, 120%. It's like the coolest. Andro said got member. What's the gym's name? Bamboo.
Fitness,
He had a gym membership there for like a month now, and it is the coolest vibe ever. It's like open, the ceilings are high, a lot of plants. The food there is amazing. No plastic, only glass, like the salt jars and everything, like wooden glass, and like the calories and the macro stuff is on the bottom of the.
I don't know how accurate that is. Maybe they just.
But I mean, even if it's off by like 10-15%, like come on, that is like so good. And food was amazing. And I mean, we both ate like kings for like, I think we both paid like 160 Rand or something like that.
With like, coffee and everything. When people say, oh, Bali's cheap, they are coming. Like I had a chat with some people from, I think it's Mexico, the US, Canada, like just a lot of different people. That's also what I love about traveling, just talking to different perspectives essentially. And they were like, yo, Bali's super cheap. I was like, no, this is normal. This is like normal price. Like Cape Town, like that's just the price you pay. So when people say it was cheap, I thought it was going to be like cheaper than Cape Town, but it's essentially like the same prices as Cape Town, which is like, compared to the world standard, pretty cheap, I suppose.
I think, even if you look at Thailand, for example, Thailand and Bali is probably the two most visited places for South Africans, just because our currency is
Thailand, like definitely more.
Yeah, 100%. But because that's basically the only two places our currency allows our people to go and visit, because we can't really afford to go to Dubai or whatever, all these places. I don't claim that energy, no ways, like I can afford it.
I was about to say, like, yeah.
Yeah, I don't claim that. It's a skill issue. But going to to Thailand, for example, if you eat local, like we did, you are paying no money for food. Like I was eating for like 40 Rand a meal. And that was like a proper Taiwanese thing, it was like So, and if I was gonna eat like Western food, like if I had to eat a steak, I would be paying like 450 Rand. And so that's basically the same vibe here in Bali. It's like if you would eat local, like we haven't really visited a local place.
Definitely need to try at least once.
Yeah. But if you were to eat local, like you'll probably eat a lot you'll pay a lot less than South African.
Sure.
But now we're sort of eating more like the tourism.
Like
tourism.
I know exactly. Like we're going to more bit of a high end type of restaurant. But definitely still
South African prices.
Yeah, normal prices.
Yeah.
I actually had a steak the other day. Like my first steak in like 3 weeks. Pretty nice. No, not South African standard, but like still, there's not a lot of steak here.
We don't realize what amazing life we actually get to live in South Africa, because you don't have the opportunity to, or you don't have the contrasting version to compare it with. So, for example,
that's why traveling is so important.
100%. That is probably the most important part about traveling. The adventure and the story, like the character development and unlocking new places or whatever. That's also cool. But being able to once again see new paradigms and then, sort of implement that in your life now, that is where the value is in traveling. And so going back to, for example, the life we get to live in South Africa, it's a beautiful country, number one. Number two, the prices for food is relatively extremely cheap. Like
no, really cheap compared to Europe,
and
America,
for quality.
Dubai,
especially for steak. So if you look at meat, like if you go, like we went to Greece, Thailand, and we in Bali now in the past, like what we travel like in the past 2 months probably.
Thailand, Bali,
Yeah, and dude, I'm telling you, like you don't pay. I can get a steak a day in Cape Town for 42 Rand.
Like $2 basically.
What are you talking about? Okay, and that's vacuum packed 400 grams rump steak. It's the best of the best. I'm talking great quality. I order 30 of those vacuum packed. I know I've one a day. What more do you need? Like, that is amazing. You can't do that in all these other countries. And so by focusing on the negatives of the country, for example, then you're going to manifest these negative things in your life. So like, there's corruption, I don't get work, or racial, whatever. Like, no, don't claim that. You need to focus on the good things. Look how beautiful the country is, the culture, the people, okay, are amazing in South Africa.
Bali people.
Bali is also good, and the locals of all these places like Bali and Thailand, awesome, humbling. They don't steal or anything.
The happiest people I've ever seen in my life.
Amazing.
Like compared to like people from Pretoria or like Cape Town. It's
Yeah,
just like Norse, like just frowning all the time. Here's just constant smiles.
But
all the time.
Yeah. I do, however, like the culture differences. And when South Africans, like, if you have something in common, instantly all the bonds like break, and it's just like pure love between, like, if you are like Stormer fans and like like each other from nowhere, and you just like, oh, I'm a Stormer, oh, you're a Stormer, oh, what, boom, drinking
Instantly.
beers, brandewijn, we're having a bright, friends for life. Like, that's how South Africans are. And especially like now traveling, like, it's the craziest thing seeing a Thailander or like a guy in Thailand and he speaks Afrikaans.
The Turkish airport, no? Like the big
one. Coming back from Greece now.
Yeah,
tell that story.
Yeah, like we were, just sitting there, waiting for Sebastian, one of our friends, to, board his flight, and like obviously we were speaking Afrikaans with each other, and then there was a guy behind us like, oh, you speak Afrikaans? It's like, oh, it's just, and then the conversation
and
started.
Then it just snapped, and it was like boom, and like we're friends. Like, it was what it is. And I think that's also sort of that also speaks a lot about human nature. We want to
have something in common.
Yeah, but no, we want a tribe. We want our people. We want to be with people that we know that understand us with our own culture. That's why I think, for example, the 5 people you surround yourself the most with, or whatever you'll be like, or having communities operating around and with people with the same goals in mind than you have or want, will ultimately determine your future. And that is 100% probably one of the most important things that you can learn and implement. You should implement. Get people around you that have the same goals that you have, and if you can't find anyone, pay money to get in a community that has. And I would say is, if you're not even close to the goal you want to be, the easiest way to get to that goal is to just surround yourself with people excuse me, that are closer to that goal and that are also moving in that direction. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah, but like a lot of people, I think we talked about this in our previous one as well, like people think, oh, I need to make $20,000 a month just to get in a normal circle. But like, you have different areas that obviously you're focused on, like the health aspect, and maybe some entrepreneurs neglect that, so you can provide a lot of value to them, right? And it's not like any financial, nothing to do with financial. You just have to, go very deep into your own area of expertise. Then you can provide that value to others. Like people are like, I think Warren Buffett wanted to be mentored by, he was mentor, I'm not sure what his name is, like Benjamin something. And Warren Buffett was like, I'll work for you for free. And Benjamin said, like, free has a cost. Like, free is not like when people say, oh, I'll work for you for free. It's like, I'm paying you, like I'm paying you with my knowledge and my time, all that. It's not free. Like, free has a cost, I think is what he said. So it's not like, oh, can I join your thing for free? It's like, you are still, you're not providing any value to the circle. That's the biggest thing. It's just focus on your area, get very good at that, and then people will just start to, reach out to you because of your value that you can provide.
That is the lonely phase. I think we've spoken about this multiple times, but it's all about, you are not for example, you don't relate with your old friends anymore, but you also don't have the results to fit into a new group of friends that you want to sort of, relate to or network with or whatever. So you're somewhere in the middle with no results, nothing to show for yourself, and you somehow need to convince yourself to continue on this journey to get to a point where you have results, to then be able to give value and then be in this networking position. And there's a lot of ways to get there. You either pay with time or what?
Even humor. Like, some people just like to
be a good person, like a guy.
Yeah, but like you just like, oh, I'm a nice guy. Like, okay, sure, but like, what can you actually do? Like, a lot of people just want to, invite some people. Like, I even know like top entrepreneurs making like, $1 million plus a month, right? And they literally just, get people into their circle or network because they're funny and they're social. So a lot of, entrepreneurs, they're very, when you focus on your craft and, making money, usually you have to cut off some friends and you have less social time, because obviously it's all about trade-offs. Like, if you want to focus on your business, like, some family and friends will suffer because of that. That's just part of the game. So most entrepreneurs aren't as social, they don't know the social dynamics and all of that. So, they have the money, maybe they make a lot of money, so they provide like the yacht or like something like that, like a mansion, and then they have the social friend that is social with everyone, and then they network. So it's a social guy with the money guy. Things answer me like they like the
the milk.
Yeah, the honey and the milk.
Oh, we'll get into this drink now.
Anyway, but like the social guy and the money guy like networks, and then the money guy can have friends and stuff like that, which he neglected at the start. And then the relationship guy or like the social guy now has a big mansion without even needing to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
See, so that's where the value.
That's a very good way to look at it. If you dissect like the situation from a macro perspective, and you take out all the emotions, it's really very simple. It's just a value exchange. And people can't focus, you can't focus on all domains. So you tend to just, because you probably value your time the most, or like that would be the best. You should value your time the most. So sure, you can try and focus on health, wealth, love, and happiness. Like that's just very difficult if you're just going to spend all your time on that, because you're not going to really be good in any of them. You're just going to be average, in some of them.
I think over the long term though, if you focus like 25% on every single one, then you'll be like the top
of the top. Take longer. But also, what do you mean by that? You can pay money to save time by getting a health coach to focus on your health, and you just implement it. Instead of trying to research at night and like, then you don't get any sleep, but then your business goes, but like you only have 24 hours a day. You can't be an expert in everything.
Actually, like 16.
Well, 16, And so you need to figure out how are you going to sort of
what's your priorities.
Yeah, what's your priorities, and how are you gonna organize your life to get those 4 domains? Like what are the 4 domains? Health, wealth, love, happiness.
And
those are the 4 most important.
So it's like health is sleep, diet, and exercise. So it's 12. So it's actually 4: health, wealth, love, and happiness or fulfillment. So health goes into sleep, diet, and exercise. So those are the 3 there. So that's health. And wealth is like, I don't know, networking. I'm not sure about that one, but like making money and like, I don't know. Love is friends, family, romance. And then fulfillment, I'm not sure about that one. But like, it doesn't really matter. That's like the foundations that you need to focus on. And you just need to go, it's like the ikigai thing. What are you interested in? What do you have experience in? And what you're good at kind of thing. So I, for example, like the business aspect of things. Even though I still focus on the health, the love, and all that, business is like the main priority, right? Yeah. So you still need to focus on that, because also if you focus on the health, your business will also do well, because a business is like an extension of you. Yeah. So if you are unhealthy, you can't make good decisions, the business will suffer because of that. So you still need to focus on, usually, that's why I talked about the social and the money guy. Yeah. Usually, great entrepreneurs, they're very focused on health and wealth.
neglect the
social. The family life is terrible. No dating life, no social life, nothing like that. So
that's good. I think that's what I was talking about. Is you have these 4 like jars that you need to fill: health, wealth, love, happiness. Arguably the 4 pillars of life. Tai Lopez like preaches that. Excuse me. So
talking about health.
Talking about health and then coughing. So you have those 4 jars. You have to fill them. So going back to ikigai.
If you want like the good life.
If you want the good life. Who doesn't want the good life, bro? Like, what do you mean? So you, for example, going back to ikigai. Ikigai is basically sort of the principle. Like, I might butcher now a bit, but it's all about what are you good at naturally? What are you interested in? What does the world need right now? And how can you get paid for it?
No,
that is like the 4 like circles, and then it like combines, and then you need to try and figure where can you be in the middle of that. And then naturally, so dissecting my own thing, for example, I'm very interested in like health and creating, for example, like content and videos and stuff like that. So I try, and obviously, yes, these ants are attacking us, bro. Now I'm losing my train of thought. But basically, you just need to fill one of the cups very well so that you can make enough money to then just substitute the other cups with the money. And then you don't have to spend a lot of time on everything. So I think it's also like, I know Andrew lives like this as well. A balance is very good, but you have to realize that some things have to be sacrificed if you want to increase the time it takes to achieve something.
I think we can definitely talk about that. Like So obviously you need to sacrifice, because then you make it's all about you only have so much energy throughout the day. So if you focus, let's say 16 hours on wealth, you will accelerate very highly on that. But the health and the love will be sacrificed.
What's the balance? What do you think is the ideal?
That's the thing. So the good life is obviously health, wealth, love, and happiness. That's where you get like this fulfillment, just like everything is connected. But let's say you focus only 10%. I think that's maybe the goal. Like you focus on everything. So that's actually very practical that you can do. So we have 16 hours in a day, right? So 4 hours you focus on health, 4 hours on wealth, 4 hours is like the only, it's like the deep work. That's where you can get the most work done. And in the evening you do like your shallow work. And then love, you spend 4 hours every single day. And then happiness or fulfillment, 4 hours every single day. So that's like the total 100% balance. And you do that every single day. And within like 20 years, you'll have the good life. So rather than, because, most people that focus on their wealth, they get like wealth in 2 years. But like their health, and that sucks. Then they need to sacrifice the wealth again for wealth. Yeah. So it's like this yo-yo, where you can just do like everything like that.
I would even argue that it's not in 20 years you'll have the good life. I 100% believe that I'm already extremely successful. I'm living the dream. Like, what else do you need? Like, I mean, I will obviously love to have more. I'll always love to have more.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. You just need to be aware of the trade-offs when pursuing more. That's, I would say, the only thing. And don't become detached from your presentness in that while you like striving. That's something I've been working through the past 3 months, is really trying to, like, because I'm always striving for more, for better, for bigger, for whatever. And you can get lost in that. And so I would even say is by just trying to, kill every single day and like fill all 4 of those cups. Like you said, if, for example, 4 hours, 4 hours, 4 hours, 4 hours, if you would do that, you are successful in that moment. Like, that's just what it is. And then with time, you'll probably only get the results a bit later. Like, you'll only see the financial fruits of your hard work.
A bit later.
Yeah. And also like physically, health-wise, relationship-wise, whatever. But in that moment, you are successful. And that's what it is. Just to continue pursuing that. And that's what it is. And I would also say is, for example, okay, no, wait, continue with what you want to say.
Yeah, so that's the trade-off again. Like, if you want to make money now, you have to sacrifice the health a bit. Like, you have to sacrifice the family. You can't go out as much. Maybe see your family a bit less. You have to work late nights, can't have dinner with them. And maybe sacrifice the happiness because you're unhappy, because you're not at your goal yet. But you will achieve wealth way quicker. But then, obviously you can't just sacrifice the health forever. So now you need to, sacrifice the wealth again for health. So over time, it still balances out, but you do it in this yo-yo fashion. I don't know if that's the best way. That's the thing. Maybe just focus 1% every day on all 4 and just get better like that, rather than the yo-yo.
They might be different, but that might almost be even more difficult, because that is balance. Because it's easy to go monk mode for 3 months. Like, come on, people out there that think, oh, monk mode, 3 months. Dude, that is the easiest thing ever. Try and live a balanced life for 3 months. That's impossible. Try and work from, let's say, from 9 to 5. Let's say you work from 9 to 5 on your business. You're an entrepreneur. So you don't really have any time.
8 hours though.
Yeah, but let's say you work, like, that's not even, people say they work like 8. No, you don't. You work deep hours. Like
3 to 4,
max. Like that is max. Like
that's
everything else is emails and outreach and stuff. Yeah. So, but anyways, it is 9 to 5. After 5, switch off completely. Don't think about work. That's impossible. You can't do that. It doesn't. You can't do that. It is so difficult because there's always more to be done, especially if you're an entrepreneur. So let's say for myself, there's always another video to edit or to create, or some research to do, or book to read, or like my brain just doesn't switch off. I'm not always working, but my brain is always on. It's always ready to work, and or always ready to be able to work. And so if to for example, just to live a, like a, let's say, normal life, is to just work from 9 to 5, then switch off, go home, drink a beer, watch Netflix with my wife.
As well, right?
There is. Like, I don't hate on that, or not anymore at least. Like, I can understand that now.
Structure is very good.
It's just not for me. Like, I can't do that. But I'm trying to find a way now how I sort of balance it out. Because, for example, let's talk about what we did today. Like, today is a good, I would say this is so far my idealist routine. Yeah. So we woke up at like 7.
I read for like 45 minutes, which I kind of like because I don't necessarily have the time. I do like morning and then at the beach I did a bit and then at night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I literally jumped in the shower to get ready, and then I went outside, grounded, drank some milk with bee pollen and honey.
Is your second one?
That was my second one.
Yeah.
Dude, but I must say, this raw milk tastes different than in Cape Town. But yeah, I quite like it. This is with raw milk with bee pollen and honey. This is like the best drink you can drink. But anyway, so I was drinking this in the morning, staring at the sun, doing some sun gazing. We got back, we crashed some eggs and some the milk, coffee,
Some papaya,
fruit juice, papaya.
So that was basically our pre-workout.
Yeah.
And then we went straight to the gym, so like a 10-minute drive on our scooters. We got to the gym, did like a amazing workout there, an hour workout, and then we
boom, hit the beach.
got like I got a protein shake, whatever. And then straight to the beach, some sun. I know Arnold also did that. He would train early in the morning and then beach.
4 hours. He was like 4 hours on the beach. Yeah, like 4 hours
to recover
like
and all that. He's like Mr. Olympia, so like obviously he has some knowledge in that. And then we got back at like 1:30, and then
we also ate after the beach, and then 1:30, and then we started working a bit up until now.
Because the time zones are completely different here. Like when it comes to my sales calls and stuff, like 2 p.m. here is like 8 a.m. in South African time. So that's when the day starts. It's 2 p.m. here. So that's why it kind of works well. You start work at 2.
Yeah. But I kind of enjoyed that. Like that was so like I mean for me like hitting the gym and all those things like that's weird because a lot of people always be like, what do I do for a living or how long do I work every day or whatever. It's like everything is work to me. Like because what is work? Work is what you do. Okay, what is work? Work is that what you do to gain financial like gain or what is work? Because we can argue that everything we do is work.
Yeah,
because it betters us.
The business is an extension of you.
Is that but
because if you work on yourself, that's work on the business. You see.
So is improvement of yourself work?
That's business.
Then I'm working, bro. Then I'm
working. That's why I say like I'm working 18 hours a day.
And so and that comes back to purpose as well. So if you can sort of become purposeful with your work, like it's really it's more than just work to me. Like going to the gym, hitting the beach, like all these things, like that's not work. That is that is what happiness or
getting sun. No, it's like it fuels your energy, which you use to create work.
It's literally life force, and so and obviously like we don't do everything perfect every single day, but like I know for a fact, like 100%, by following this routine I'm mentioning you right now, what we just did makes me feel like a superhero. Wake up after 8 hours of sleep with the sun gaze, set your circadian rhythms, wait for an hour and a half before your espresso. Boom, espresso. You got your raw milk, honey, bee pollen, whatever. Maybe do some movement. Okay, after eating anything, go for a 10-minute walk. It helps with digestion. Then hit the gym. Go to the beach if you can, if it's possible. Get in the sun during the day. Maybe while you do movement, that will help. For example, in the beach, maybe take a small sip of the water because there's a lot of minerals in the water. And your skin, Andro says your skin is the biggest organ in your body. So it actually absorbs all the minerals in the ocean. Try and feel bad after being in the ocean. You can't.
Or like 20 minutes in the sun.
And this, I would say you need to do both, for sure. Then get back home, maybe eat something. Do a bit of work for about 4 hours, maybe eat something again, go for a walk after you eat, stare at the sun when the sun sets to set your circadian rhythms, pop on the blue light blocking glasses. That's the best, that's life.
But
that's what it
also depends obviously on the goal. Like, Alex Omosi does none of that. He coffee straight up, doesn't do the morning sun, eats dessert every single night. Like, that's also like, but he makes $20 million a month.
Everything is about your goal. I would say paradigms, perspectives, but just how you want to go through life.
I think you always need to reverse engineer. Like, what's the goal? I literally have that on my reminder. Like, what's the big thing? And then you reverse engineer it. Like Alex Omosi literally wants to become a billionaire. Yeah. So he doesn't need to do the morning sun. Like he doesn't need to, read as much. Like he doesn't need to go to the ocean. See, because that doesn't align with the big goal. Yeah, and I would also say a lot of people would say, oh yeah, but like how's he still so successful? Or how does he look so good or whatever? It's completely subjective.
Yeah, but it's also like Bruh, that guy's a psychopath. Like, people don't realize, like, you take one or two of these guys, and then they think, like, oh, like, I can eat a cookie every morning and look like that. It's no. First of all, he literally owned gyms. Like, he is a big gym guy. Then he also does, like, steroids, so TRT, that also plays an effect on that. But he's been exercising for so long, and I promise you, he's like 1 in a million. If you take if a random person does his daily routine, you'll feel like shit and you'll look like shit. That's just what it is. But because he's been doing it for 15, 20 years with steroids or whatever, like, he's somehow like operating like that. And like, also if you go look at or hear like how he started his business, like, he's just very different. Like, he just chose to just switch. Like, you know, like, he doesn't do any affirmations or visualization.
He did do that actually.
Or
for
did
like 2 years, yeah.
He doesn't believe in...
he did do it, but he completely stopped.
Yeah, he doesn't believe in that. Like, he just says, like, if you... Like,
what is that? Like that quote, like, it's
like
not
in the
about
mirror.
shouting
Yeah.
affirmation in the mirror, it's like doing... Oh my word, I completely...
it's not about shouting affirmations in the mirror, but by having undeniable truth that you are you say you are. So I agree with that. But I also agree, or like, I also believe that not everyone can just be in a situation, decide they're going to do something and just do it. There's a lot of people that can't do that, that somehow needs to sort of convince themselves first that they, number one, can do it, number two, that they are good enough to do it or whatever, or that they are allowed to do it. There's a lot of brainwashing and mindset switches that needs to happen. And I would say people like Alex and Iman and Mark Zuckerberg and all these guys, like, they are psychotic by nature. And so by looking up to a lot of these people, you must just keep that in mind. Like, I would say the routine I just mentioned previously, like, if any average guy followed that routine, you will feel 200 times better. I promise you, without a doubt. 100%. That is how we as animals, because we're actually animals, that's how we actually supposed to operate. We need to be in the sun, in nature, and all these things. And so, yeah, but that's also obviously what just worked for me. Some people might try it and then might not value it as much and then stop, but that's also fine.
But also you have to realize how long they've been doing it. Like, you know, Alex Emoji did affirmations for 2 years. He literally did it. He focused, he read books, self-improvement looks like happiness, hypothesis, like, he read all this stuff. That helped him within those 2 years to change his paradigms, and then just acted, you know. Iman did the affirmations thing. Sam Ovens did the affirmations thing. Like, they achieved success extremely quickly. Like, Alex Emoji was a millionaire when he was 27. Okay? 27. He started at 23. That's 4 years. Right? Iman was a millionaire at 18. So, he did the affirmation stuff as well for, like, you know, 3 years. So, it just takes some time. And I think Sam Ovens also, he made like, I think it went from 0 to $65 million a year in, I think, 4 or 5 years.
He also did with his course? Or
yeah, consulting.com.
That is...
So he also did the affirmation stuff. He's literally the pioneer of, like, the self-transcendence workbook.
Is that
He's
his
like
thing?
the guy. He's like the top of the pyramid of the self-transcendence workbook. So he literally started that. Now everyone else is teaching that as well. So there's definitely some value in that. I see a lot of people talk about the visualization and all that, because your mind doesn't know the difference between, you know, dream and reality. So, like, that's when we wake up from a nightmare, it's like you're sweating because your brain literally thought, like, that literally happened. So when you can play it over on your mind constantly, like, your brain doesn't know the difference, and you start to act like that type of person.
And I think I think that's what I was excuse me. I think, dude, these mosquitoes, look at this.
Oh wow.
I got like 3 bites already. Like, what is this? This is crazy. But anyways, I think that's what I was saying now previously, is that for like an average dude, or like just when you're starting out with success, like, and obviously, like, I'm continuously doing that at the moment as well. But you need to convince yourself mentally and, like, with your mindset first before you can do anything. Like, you need to somehow convince yourself first that you can do it in the first place, and then you only start to do it. You can't just, like, boom, like do it. And that's what affirmations and all these things are about, or the self-transcendent worksheet, like Andro's talking about, that everyone was doing. That's like the foundation is mindset. If you buy any SMMA course or agency course or whatever, there's a mindset module in there, and it's probably going to be the first one, because without the mindset, you can't do all the other things. You know, it's like I actually overheard Andro also on the sales call. He had a sales call now where he was talking about the mindset, and now people tend to what billionaires? It's like 80% mindset,
like
20%
success
systems.
is 80% mindset and 20% strategy. So like most people focus all the effort on the 20% of the strategies, and it's not like the 80-20 stuff. Like 80% is the mindset, and because if you have the right mindset, you will come up with the right strategies. Because over time, the market changes as well, the supply and demand. Like people get numb to the message. So if you have the right mindset, you can change up your strategy. So I literally created like a new email system as well, performing extremely well just because I have the right mindset to create a new one. If let's say I just focus on the strategies, I will just stick with that one strategy. But let's say, you know, people are like, oh, I've seen this 100 times, like it's become obsolete. I don't know how to change it because I don't have the right mindset to do that. So 80% is mindset. But like when people say, I will teach you mindsets, like, nah, like what are you gonna do? Like where's the tangible? But like that, the intangible becomes the tangible.
I think that's good. Yeah, I think that's good. All right, we are back in the game. I had to change my shirt, or actually just put on a shirt now, because the mosquitoes were chowing me. I have like 7 of these mosquito bites.
Just now in half an hour.
Yo, I was struggling with that in time.
I don't have one.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think my blood is like in South Africa I get demolished, but here I don't think that my blood's different. Like the AB, what blood type?
I don't even know what blood type I am, but like these mosquitoes love me.
That's
like I don't know what's happening.
I think the AB in South Africa destroyed, but like here they don't like that.
Yeah. The sun is changing a lot, so I really hope the exposure in the video is fine. But it's obviously with the clouds and everything, we're outside. So but in any case, so how would you say, like, obviously we are very fortunate, and I want to mention that we are very fortunate. I'm very grateful to be able to travel so much. While
we've been to Greece as well, like
I don't like this is crazy. How would you say like traveling like this has like influenced your like work? Like that's obviously very broad. Okay, wait, let's start with, can you be as productive while traveling? And
no.
Like how did that impact your work?
Definitely not. So I think traveling in general, I think it's not a long term play. Like I think when you're starting out in like entrepreneurship, you make some money. Like then you should travel for like, I don't know, 3 to 6 months or so. Let's say like 3 months. So you can just broaden your perspective and see what's possible, and then you get back to work. I don't think it's like a thing you do forever, because like I can't do like groundbreaking, amazing, routine, focused work here. Like I just can't. It's not like you know, people are rushing in the door or anything. It's like you don't have your routine. Like you just need that. Like maybe it's also a skill issue or like a limiting belief. But like I think you also should be able to do work online. You know, anywhere. But like you can't do like your best work. Definitely not. Because you need the routine. But I think the travel is good just to broaden your perspective and see new things, gain new experiences, just enjoy life also as well. And then you can get back to work. Like I'm longing to get back to that routine also. Because I also noticed when I was just doing the routine stuff, like you need something to look forward to, because that also fuels creativity. Like you have a deadline. With our work, there's no real deadline. Like you can just work forever. It becomes so mundane. Like you're doing the same things over and over. But like when you have something to look forward to, like those 3 months, I think that's good. Like those 3 months are very focused, creative work. I think that's good. Like 3 months sprint or whatever, and then like a 10-day vacation. I think that's like perfect.
Okay.
And that vacation, you don't work at all.
I would agree with that. Yeah, I would say also the traveling, like, I don't know, like I enjoy it a lot, and I think it's very good to obviously experience it, and not just for the adventure part of it, or the memories and the photos and the videos and all those things, and seeing new places, but also just like seeing what is out there and seeing how other people operate, different cultures, and then like seeing all these paradigms, and then trying sort of like testing it and seeing if it can work in your life, you know. And I don't know, you don't come back the same person when you start traveling. That sounds also so crazy and woo woo or whatever. You tan, you've got a lot for tan, but it's so well, that also, I mean, it also depends, I guess, with like what intention you go out like traveling. Like if you just go out just to party in Thailand, like you might come back just, you know, with a bit extra calories and sick. But like I think it's some like there's a lot of beauty out there to experience, and I think it's a shame to just sit in one country for your whole life and not being able to experience different cultures and people. And I think you experience a lot of different paradigms that might be beneficial, but you'll never know unless you go and see those places.
Like you don't know what you don't know.
You don't know what you don't know. And so, for example, now, going back to Cape Town, I love that place. And I would be extremely grateful going back now. Like, I released a vlog now, for example, I think yesterday evening. And in the vlog, I said I just got back from Greece and I was doing a hike with Andro and them, Lion's Head. And I was looking over Cape Town and I was like, bro, this place is beautiful. What are we doing? Why aren't we proud of this place? And it's so difficult to value things that you were just given because you never earned it. And there's no sunken cost, or like, that's not the right term for it, but there's no like effort you had to put in to get something. And also, if you can't compare it with something else, then it's even more difficult because then you just have that one thing. And so it's like, if you were always fat, like, you can't compare it to when you were shredded, so you just is, you know, that's just who you are.
That's like your homeostasis. It's like, oh, I feel good. It's like, no, that's, you don't know what good feels like. You don't know what you don't know.
Get to a place where you are shredded and then become fat again. You will feel terrible. Or vice versa, get shredded, and then you know how valuable it is to be like that because you know how it is to be fat.
I think we talked about that at the cafe.
Yo.
I think we talked about it was a mosquito. I think we talked about that in the cafe. It's like the health Red Bull. It's like when you're a fat guy just doing nothing, you know, not doing an exercise, nothing like that, and you just become like absolutely insanely healthy, shredded, tan, like just cardio, weights, everything. Just become that person and go back. You can't because you're already taken the health Red Bull. It's like the same with like. That's why I want people to make their first money online. You can't go back. It's impossible to go back. Like, how you've experienced this freedom, like, how do you go back? You're just gonna live in misery for the entire life. You'll die depressed because you know there's better out there. So that also, when you experience new cultures and all that, like, you know what's out there. There's no way you can go back to just like, you know, living normally. You know. So that's why you need to experience new things. That's so you can compare it to what you were doing.
Yeah, I think like what you were discussing now in the we were having dinner or lunch was, if you just get a base level of health, you will not be able to go back to an unhealthy state without a sense of sort of not regret or like disappointment in yourself, because maybe there's a lack of motivation or discipline or whatever, but you will know that you feel ultimate like so much better in that other state. And I think that's a lot like with the finances as well, like being in a place where you want to be and then not being there. Like, where was I going with this now? I had a really good story with this.
No, it's like, you know, experiencing the freedom and all that, and then going back to a 9 to 5 or being trapped there. Like, you can't. You'll be depressed.
It is. So a lot of my friends also ask me, for example, like, aren't you a bit intense on this diet or whatever? Like, maybe I'm a bit intense, like on some of the parts, and I'm relaxing now a bit. But I think it's important to be extreme and psychotic in like the first like bit stretch of any pursuit, especially if it's like purposeful to you. And then, but like the obsession of health is unhealthy. But I think the obsession in the first place gets that initial sprint fast, quicker than everyone else, and then you can operate out of a place of knowledge. So, for example, now
and not ignorance.
And not ignorance. So that's the most important thing, is to not operate out of a place of ignorance and to just know what the consequences are of your choices. And so then you can just like literally dissect what's the goal, what are you willing to trade for the goal, and then you operate out of a place of knowledge and not ignorance. And then that is the secret sauce to success. Yeah. It's literally just that. And then you can literally see, like, I was speaking to a couple of people on the beach now as well, going through my, like, they asked me, like, what diet do I follow, whatever. It's like, I don't really follow, like,
people are extremely ignorant.
Yeah, and I actually changed now, like, my way I approach. Like,
perspective, see, that's
my perspective,
your perspective completely changed.
But not even my...
Mosquito.
Dude, there's so many, look at this thing, and it's so small, there's so much damage. Oh, you caught it. Look at that, your right hand, huh? Yes, what's that, jab hand? But so that actually, I was like, what diet I follow? And I actually changed my sort of my pitch. I don't really follow a diet. I would say I just live a certain lifestyle, and I live in accordance with nature, or at least as close as possible. So
to the source.
Yeah, to the source. So I eat foods as close to the source as possible. Raw milk. So closest thing you can get. This is literally just from literally it's milked from the cow into the bottle. Boom, nothing else. This is how God wanted us to drink milk. Obviously, then you have to do your due diligence, whatever, and make sure that the source you're getting it from is healthy. If you're gonna get a sick cow and drink its milk, you're gonna get TB, bro. So you need to make sure to where's the source of the food coming from or whatever. But in any case, that's like with information as well, so it's common sense. But I eat whole foods as close to the source as possible, and I try and be in nature as much as possible, be grounded with the sun, in the ocean, in nature, whatever, and I move. And that's that. That's really actually all I do. I don't really do anything else. And then there's some other things like I personally stay away from seed oils, and I actually experienced that firsthand, like during this vacation when I was in Thailand. I was eating a bit more like ice creamish stuff or whatever, like Thailandian food. And that obviously has a lot of sunflower oil and stuff like that in, and deep fried foods. And I went to the beach, next day I was burnt, and red burnt, like it was sore. I came back to Bali, it's like I've been eating a lot more healthier, cleaner fats, and now I'm not burning. It's I don't know. It's
but that also, then it shows again that the lifestyle that you are living is actually right. So when you are, doing things that are not completely right, and you experience the consequences, you're like, okay, I was right.
And that
reinforces the belief.
Is that 100% what happened? I believe so. I mean, that's the only thing that changed. Like, I don't burn. Like, that's not what I do. I went to Thailand and I burned. I don't get sick. I went to Thailand, I eat those foods, I got sick. So, I mean, there's a couple other factors also, like for me getting sick, obviously, the traveling and all those things. But I think push comes to shove, whether or not I brainwashed my body to believe that the diet I'm eating is good for it, and that's the only stuff that it eats now, if I don't eat the foods that I'm currently eating, I tend to feel much worse. So why would I not follow and preach the diet that I'm doing, which is meat as raw as you possibly can eat it. That means also the meat needs to be good quality. Like raw milk, that's what I enjoy, like cheese, sourdough, honey, complex carbs, sweet potato with honey on. That's basically, that's that.
And then that's obviously
eggs, a lot of eggs.
The foundation, and then you obviously need the, that's why we're going back to the 4 aspects: health, wealth, love, and happiness. Like, then health is the foundation, and then wealth is the fuel. So
that's a good way.
If you have the fuel, you can then live the life. So that's what our community is going to be about. It's like just getting you straight on the foundations and the fuel.
Ooh,
and with that,
you drop the community bomb. Ooh.
And then you can use the foundation and the fuel to live the life. Because after that, you can choose what you want to do.
100% agree.
But also, love again is the what's that? Is the foundation, the fuel, I think it's the purpose. And like love is the purpose. And then I'm not sure. But anyway, like we just get you straight on the foundation, the fuel. When you have that, you can do whatever you want. We don't judge from there. But if you don't have the foundation, obviously you can't, that's the number one thing. If you don't have that, you can't operate, at your peak level. But if you don't have the fuel, it's like you can't do anything with your good health.
Both of those things feed into each other. So when you operate out of a place of aesthetic, handsome tanness, and you're jacked, you have confidence, you operate out of a better place, out of a better frame, a structure to then make more money. That's just what it is. You have more energy, you look better, you're confident, you don't get sick. It's just you're up and going and no brain fog, and it's just amazing. Like, I promise you, if I put you on my morning stack, like, you'll be dialed in without any Ritalin and Concerta. Like, you don't need those artificial drugs to focus. What do you mean? Drinking pills to focus? Like, are you kidding me? That is crazy. But then once again, is like living a healthy lifestyle is so much easier if you can just buy a good environment to live in, which is Bali. For example, we came here, it costs money to get here, by the way. Like, it's
that's
not
the fuel again.
Yeah, so it's not cheap. It's not just like, we don't just come here and it's cheap. It costs money. But it once again, so it refeeds and it allows me to then live a healthy lifestyle. And so it's like a snowball effect. That's what it is.
Like a flywheel effect.
Yeah, compound effect, whatever you want to call it.
A lot of businesses use that, because that's just, infinite gains basically. And as I said as well, like the business is an extension of you. So if you're healthy, the business will be healthy. So it all just comes back to that. So we get you dialed in there, and then we can let you go.
You can find love on your own, bro. Like
we know. I don't have much experience on that yet, so you can do that on your own. I think that's a good thing to wrap it up with.
Yeah, I think we can sort of steadily wrap up the 5th podcast here in Bali. I think we'll probably do a couple more here. You can
expect like a couple of ones, I think, dropping pretty soon. Like we can do one in a Canggu, maybe in a Ubud as well. Another one here. Like in the next 2 weeks, you can expect a couple just to give back on the time.
Yeah, that we sort of like skipped on. Yeah. We definitely need to do a couple of we need to start interviewing someone. I wonder who's going to be our first guest on the pod. That's going to be pretty cool. We haven't interviewed anyone yet. But I would say, so I think I'll end off with the one thing that I I think I gained from the experiences I had previously now with Greece, Thailand, and now currently traveling in Bali, and just everything in between. I would say the biggest paradigm switch for me the past 2 months was sort of my alignment with my purpose. I would say that's a big one. The paradigm switches I had with in relation to things that I actually already have in my life back at home that I need to be more grateful for, and I'm excited once again to get back to sort of hammering in the work in my own little space again with my dog and my girlfriend, family, everyone there. I got a lot of extra gratitude for the things I already had by traveling without those things, if that makes sense. So I would say that's probably the biggest thing, is just a bit more gratefulness and more aligned with my purpose now, because now I, to an extent, saw everything there is to see. I went to Greece, I'm in Bali, I went to Thailand, I was traveling for a month.
Australia, Europe.
Yeah, there's still a lot of things to see, but I would say the cliche thing, there's a lot of people that go through the entire life and not travel 3 different countries.
In 3 months.
Yeah.
But the thing I've learned as well is people, I know a lot of high achievers, people know they're destined for greatness. They can't allow themselves to enjoy the nice things, because they're I need to be working during this during this time I could be working. When I'm on a 10-hour flight, I could be working. It's but the biggest regret that people have when they are at their deathbed or whatever, it's not they should have worked more. That was not once mentioned I should have worked more. Maybe there's a lot of I studied the wrong thing, but that's different. That's if you studied the wrong college degree or something because your parents, that's again something different about not living an authentic life. So that's not no one said I should have worked extra hours. It's I should have enjoyed life more. I should have gave myself, that's a big one, giving myself permission to enjoy life more. They're they're holding back because I could be working, I could be getting ahead. But it's what are you getting ahead for?
Okay.
So I think it's just giving yourself permission to actually enjoy the nice things in life. I think that's a big one, and obviously you can't do that forever. There needs to be a ratio of work, but it's work hard, play hard. So that's why I think you work hard, you sprint for 3 months, and then life is not a marathon. It's a combination of sprints and recoveries. But the long term, it's a marathon. So short term, that's what you really can do, is focus on the next 24 hours. It's just sprint for 3 months, just get, complete a project, and then recover for 10 days. Sprint 3 months, recover. So that's, I think, and in the recovery periods, you also need to give yourself, that permission to actually enjoy that, because you work for it.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. See you next one. The next one is probably going to be a week after this one or so. In any case, cool. Check on the next one.
Cheers.
Peace.
Cool.
All right.